to Fourth and Fantasy. We just finished or trying to finish up our first mock draft of the off season. Right now, with a 1.75 Dynasty as our settings, super flex. But that's enough talking. Let's get into it and get y'all on.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I don't follow no script. I make my own lane. Got a spreadsheet mind and a red brass brain. Dynasty beats got that tape in my veins. While they drafting by names, I'm exposing their game. No cap. We study the craft like film room rats. Gyms in the fourth while they stuck in the past. It's levels to the dynasty. Keep or flex. From rookies to pros, we demanding respect. That's real. And I ain't never need clout for my clout to show. Just a mic I take and a team I grow. This ain't just picks, it's Principle G. It's Fourth and Fantasy. Where you build your legacy. We 10 toes.
Hold up. What the hell is over here, y'all? That's that ghost shit. We don't play them. We don't play that. We don't play them post
Spooky.
guys. We don't play that shit up out of here. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling right. You're back at Fourth and Fantasy. I am Honcho, and this is my guy.
Siriaco, call me Rocco.
And we are your fantasy playbook to more championship wins. We're in the off season right now. So, but we're going. We're this is where you put in the real work. This is where you put in the real grind to be able to contend for a championship. But Rocco, let's tell the people where we the land of if they don't know already.
We are a fantasy football podcast for Dynasty Sickos by Dynasty Sickos. Everybody's welcome.
Everybody's welcome, man. And when we say that, this is for anybody who is there. This might be your first year playing Dynasty. You are a forever redrafter. You only know about Yahoo. You only know about ESPN. You said someone mentioned sleeper to you, and you thought they were talking about going camping or getting knocked out. So it's. I feel like especially for me who now this is when I think about it, this is going on to my fourth year, I believe, of playing Dynasty, which is crazy to say. Um, I feel like the landscape has changed a lot in those 4 years. Your draft strategy can't stay or remain the same, just due to some players move up in ADP, some players move down in ADP. And the mock draft that we've done, we have a new one-on-one in 2026, and some guys have slid back into the second round where they were generally in the first round in 2025. But Rocco, this being our first mock, and we got plenty to come, baby, because shoot, thinking about it, a lot of rookie mock drafts or rookie drafts will be after the actual draft in April, late April. How is draft strategy this year? Is anything changing up for you compared to 2025?
I think we talked about this on previous pods, but what I noticed big time last year was people aren't reaching for the quarterbacks as much. And there's a lot of good ones, a lot of interesting ones, a lot of young quarterbacks that are going to be available, in the third, fourth, fifth, and those kind of not early but middle-ish rounds. So unless I got a super early pick or if I'm at late in the first and a really good quarterback slips to me, I'm probably going wide receiver, maybe running back, possibly even tight end. But I feel like the move now with the community kind of fading quarterback in super flex leagues just a little bit. I feel like the move now is to get one of those super elite receivers, super elite running backs, one of those big time difference makers that set up your whole positional group like that. And then I think you can kind of wait on quarterback. You want to see how the draft is going. You want to make sure like 9 quarterbacks don't go in the first round and you don't get left holding the bag. Especially if you're in the early first. But that's one of the things I've been doing in some of these mocks is not necessarily reaching on those early quarterbacks unless somebody I really likes is sliding into the middle, late first. And that's basically what I did in this draft.
Yeah, and that's what. Matter of fact, let's get the draft on screen right now. I I started this off, like, honestly thinking about it. a little differently than I generally would have in previous years.
Yeah, you didn't.
Let me
You
know.
didn't. You didn't take CD Lamb.
I did not take CD Lamb, baby. I did
You
not.
almost got him in the second.
Almost. So this is our mock draft currently going on right now. Shout out to everybody that's in here. Names that you've seen in the community: Addy, Chev, our boy Ben, Austin of other great individuals up in here. Can't appreciate everyone for jumping into this one. As I stated, we have a new, and I mean new, 101 in 2026, baby. Bijan Robinson, Falcons running back. Come on down. Not a quarterback, a receiver, a running back. I'm not Chef. Sorry. Rocco, how do you feel about Bijan Robinson as the new 101? And would you make the same move in some leagues?
I think Grindberg. I see him on. I haven't really interacted with him much, but I think he's part of the FSAN um, network. So
Network.
shout out to him for really putting on the line and going Bijan Robinson at one.
Yeah.
I feel like in these mocks, it's kind of like a choose your own adventure. There's not a lot that's the same in these drafts. Like in this one, it's Bijan and one, and I think the other two that I'm in currently, I want to say it was Drake May that went first overall.
Mm.
But in all three of the drafts, what really stood out to me was Allen went didn't go at the 101, wasn't the QB1 in any of them.
Things have changed.
And it makes me wonder, if that once infallible, bulletproof guy that was 101 in basically every draft is if he's losing a little bit of luster, he's pushing to 30. He plays a roughneck style that you wonder how long could he keep going. No, he hasn't missed a game, but he spent a lot more time on the ground this year than he has in recent years, and I think people are starting to see it. And he totally blew that game with four turnovers. And I feel for the guy. The guy was crying at the podium, but my guy, this is on you. You had four turnovers, including that one at the end of the first half, which gifted them 3 points. With the Bills possibly would have been the winning margin if he didn't give away those 3 points. So I think maybe people are having Josh Allen fatigue, but looking at it from the other way, this could be an opportunity to get you some Josh Allen if
There
he's
we
not
go right
going
there.
101.
I was going to say.
I usually don't pick one, so I basically have zero shares of Josh Allen. But let me tell you, if I'm, not at one, maybe three, four, five, six, and Josh Allen's sitting there, I may have to get into the Josh Allen business.
Hey, at 104, where he was in previous years, the consensus 101. Hey, take advantage of it where you can, right? So our boy Ben went Drake May, and as you stated, typically you've seen Drake May go at that 101. Is Drake May, should he be the first quarterback going off the board in drafts in 2020? He the new QB1 in 2000. My boy Rocco.
I, I definitely think he's the QB1. I mean, he is built like Josh Allen. He may not be as what's the word I'm looking for? Uh, Amazingly reckless with his body, and
That's the one way to put it.
type of guy that gets you to stand on tables and just yell with the awesome plays that he makes. Even though he does make awesome plays, but
Mhm.
more of his plays seem to be with his arm. He can run, so that's another reason why he's the new 101. But he has way more accuracy than Josh Allen had at this point in his career. He probably has more accuracy than Allen has right now. I think he's close. He's either leading the league in completion percentage or damn close to it. And I think we just saw a tip of the iceberg. This is his second year, and they're still adding talent around him. So some of those young players that they have there are just going to get more seasoned and used more. Like a Trevion Henderson could get used in the passing game. You have Kyle Williams, and they can also bring guys in. So yeah, I think he's the undisputed 101 QB1, however you want to say it. To
Mm,
me, um, I don't think anybody really has claim to that 101.
no,
And he's what, 8 7 8 years younger than Josh Allen, so you're basically getting a young Josh Allen, and you gotta kind of get on board because that's who he is at this point.
and I feel bad for our boy Max because typically I feel like he's not going to be able to get his guy in startup drafts as much as he wants to, where he
Hmm.
unless you get that first or second pick, third pick, depending on how someone feels about Caleb Williams or Josh Allen or Lamar Jackson, right? Who I went with, and I don't want. I mean, before I get to mine, we had Jamar Chase come off the board as the first wide receiver, as of course, as he still is doing his thing. I still think even though he wasn't the bona fide wide receiver one in fantasy, I still think in football, real football, he is the wide receiver one, the best wide receiver in the NFL.
Hmm.
And that's over CD, that's over Justin Jefferson. I think he is the best wide receiver in the NFL. So I agree with him being the first wide receiver to come off the board here. What I typically don't do, and this is why I said I change it, trying different strategies in these mock drafts. I typically don't go a quarterback in the first round. It's either going after an elite wide receiver or going after an elite running back in Bijan and Jamar Gibbs. But I was like, I'm a roll with Lamar Jackson. Why? Because I feel great that he's getting a new offensive coordinator. Don't know who that is at the moment. They just hired their new head coach, and I believe his name is Mentor. So,
Jesse Minter,
yep,
Chargers
Jesse
defensive
Miller
coordinator.
at the Chargers DC. So, gotta see who he's going to bring in as the offensive coordinator. But I'm glad it's that Harbaugh and McConkey is out the way, as I felt like for their offense got fairly stale. Like what was the use of a receiver in that offense for fantasy? Having a Ravens that wasn't Zay Flowers was absolutely buttermilk buns Basuda. Rashard Bateman did not perform. Mark Andrews took a step back. Who the hell is their wide receiver three? I don't know. What was it? Devontae Walker, his name from North Carolina wide receiver that nobody really liked coming out. So I believe in 2026, Lamar gets back to that MVP caliber Lamar Jackson that we all loved for fantasy and blew up, right? So,
Do, do you worry about his legs at all as he gets older?
yeah, potentially, but there's also been quarterbacks that have gotten hurt while inside the pocket. So I feel like
I'm not talking about injury. I'm just talking about him not running the
as much.
4.3 that he's run in the past.
Oh, that's fine too. Cause I still think he's an efficient runner who is still elevating as a passer too. And he has grown to be one of the better passers of the ball. He doesn't get to show that as much because of the receivers that he has outside of Zay Flowers and the overall schematic way that they ran that offense. But I think with a new breath of fresh air that will be coming in, they let Lamar Jackson be more than what Ty McConkey was asking him to be. So I'm
Todd
still rolling
Monken.
with, huh?
Todd Monken.
Yeah, Did I say that? Monken?
He said, I thought you were saying McConkey. He's a good lad.
I thought I said McCon. McCon. I said now you messed me up. McConkin.
Monken.
Monken. You know, mess me up now. but but no, I feel like I still like Lamar Jackson. And then we had Jameer Gibbs go after. Then we have your pick here, Rocco. You still love yourself some Jaden Daniels at 108. And I still feel like that might end up one of the value picks in the first round when it comes to quarterbacks, where he was going in that top 5 last year. How do you still feel about Jaden Daniels in 2026 as a quarterback that you can depend on?
I was a year ahead, I think, and I had him as my QB1 going into last year. Obviously, that didn't work out for him. He wasn't able to overcome uh, the the terrible job that the front office did in surrounding him with talent.
Mhm.
And then he snapped his elbow. Everybody saw that, but I mean, what we saw in the rookie year is closer to what I think he can be.
Mhm.
A lot of it's going to depend on how Washington surrounds him with talent
Who's that
and
offensive
protects him.
coordinator? Hmm.
Gets a good offensive coordinator,
Right.
that runs a modern offense. But I mean, what we saw in his first year, I mean, he looked a lot like he looked like a he looked like almost like a Lamar Jackson kind of clone, or at least in the same stratosphere. I mean, he's a great runner. And he
Uh,
also had a lot of accuracy, which I really loved in his first year. And I think that's what I loved about him the most was how accurate he was, to most areas of the field.
yeah.
So it wasn't just his running; it was his passing too. So um, I don't think he's the next RG3 because he made it out of his second year without blowing his knee up, and God forbid that don't happen to him again. But at 8, I just couldn't pass it up, and honestly, I really did fuck up, because I didn't expect Puka Nakua to be like way down there because it's off of last year's ADP. I
Hmm.
probably would have went Puka there, if I was paying attention, because I've actually taken Puka at 6 in one of the other mocks.
Okay.
Puka for me is basically top 3-ish startup pick for me. I think he's the best receiver in the league.
You would go over
Um,
Chase?
yeah,
Okay, I like it.
I take him
Mm.
over Chase.
I can't put
Um,
you on it.
it, um, yeah, I love me some Puka. I mean, they're same tier, but I'm probably going Puka at this point. But Jaden Daniels is not a terrible pick, and he was going early in the first last year. So I'll take the value at 8.
Hell yeah. And let's wrap up the first round real quick. As he said, Puka Nakua goes after him. Joe Burrow, still a first rounder from our boy Chev. We got Bowers, since this is 1.75 tight end premium, Bowers and McBride end off the first round. And this is where I was talking about earlier, where in my draft strategy, I want to have a later pick this year in my startup drafts. Hopefully. Why do I say that? Because this wide receiver run to start the second round is going to be legit. It's going to be legit, and you want to be in that sweet spot where if you went a running back or a quarterback in the first round, you can still get yourself an elite wide receiver into that second round. CD Lamb, Justin Jefferson, notorious first rounders in the last 3 years or so, 3, 4 years. Now going in the second. Hell, we had Ted McMillan go before CD Lamb. We had like, and I felt like with Jackson Smith Najibba, he should still be in that first round, but 1.75 will do that to you. If people love those tight ends and it looks like this, I would gladly take that in drafts, that 109, that 108, that 107. Anything after that, that turnaround is going to be beautiful for you to where you can set yourself up fairly nicely if you do it correctly. But look, I said, we start off in the second round with Jackson Smith and Jibba. It goes to St. Brown, McMillan. That is kind of crazy, Chef. We got to talk about that one. How going with McMillan over Neighbors, who's, yes, he does has the, but I still would in a way. So Neighbors over McMillan, and then obviously y'all know how I feel about my boy CD Lamb. Ain't never gonna change on him. Drake London, even I'm going over Tech McMillan. So uh, that's what do you think about Tech going into 2026, Rocco? I like him. I still like me some McMillan. I'm still on board with Young. I still think he has shown some type of progression. Now we got to see what that team can do, add more talent around him, and see what it can be. We do have Jonathan Brooks coming back this year, and then Rico is most likely out, but Chuba Hubbard can get that starting role back. Hopefully, that we all was blindsided by him losing last year. So with McMillan, are you in? Are you out at this current spot where he's being selected? Where he most likely will be going in that mid, most likely in that mid to late second, unless someone really loves him, like Chev in the early second.
That is high. I don't have him in that tier, but I tell you one thing, man. When Chev puts his stamp on a guy and he's gonna stand on that business, like you know that makes me sit up and notice, like, man, is McMillan in that foundational tier at this point? I don't know if I'm ready to put him there, but I mean, Chev did. I mean, he took him over foundational guys, at least two, probably all four of these guys, unless you believe that Pickens and Lamb are splitting it down the middle. But
Would
all of
you
these guys are going to be target hogs,
would you go
and
McMillan or Olave?
I'd probably go
What you think?
McMillan.
Okay,
I,
all
I
right.
would go McMillan. He's younger. He doesn't have the concussion history, and he did it as a rookie. And um, I just like McMillan a little bit more. I feel like the Saints are going to bring in other guys, so I think there will be some competition, maybe from a first round rookie, maybe from a BTJ if they trade for him. I even heard not really a rumor, but speculation about possibly going after Nico Collins as well.
Mm-hmm.
If the Houston Texans make him available, because they just drafted a bunch of receivers. So that was interesting. I wouldn't call it a rumor; it was more just speculation. Um, but yeah, I'm probably not putting him in there because I feel like I can get him in the third. So I would, for me, I would be grabbing one of those foundational guys and then coming back around to get McMillan. But I mean, shit, Chev called out Tucker Kraft last year, and that dude was on his way to being a top three or better tight end. So
Yep.
when he makes a pick, I stand up and notice.
Gotta listen. And then coming back around, oh, looking at your pick, you went Justin Jefferson. You couldn't pass up that wonderful value where we've been seeing him grow, go in the second round. I feel like if Justin Jefferson is right there and he's on the board, no matter how you feel about the quarterback situation, you have to pull the trigger, right?
Top six pick for the last, ever since his rookie year. So, ever since his second year, he's been a top six, basically dynasty pick. So, yeah, I'm smashing right there. I'm fading the QB insecurity and questions, and I'm smashing Justin Jefferson right there.
And then CD Lamb goes right before me. I was so hoping that he was going to make it one spot ahead. That shit pissed me off. So that damn bad route go. But I still went ahead and got another favorite one of my wide receivers, Drake London, who, blessed may be, has lost Zach Robinson. Let me tell you, I am so goddamn happy he is out of Atlanta. I felt like he left so much meat on the bone for the talent that he'd had. And yes, the quarterback situation did send things a different direction. But man, that should piss me off. I don't like Zach Robinson, and I don't feel good about him now becoming the offensive coordinator for the Tampa Bay Bucks. I'm actually trying to move off of a couple of my pieces, like Baker Mayfield. We'll see if he can, how if things are different with Baker Mayfield. Now he has a more better core of wide receivers. Yes, he had Drake London, but now he has Amika Buka. Mike Evans is still doing his thing. Chris Godwin is a year removed from the injury, so hopefully he can be in better situation that he was playing this previous year. And then Jalen McMillan, he's back. So I feel like he has wide receiver wise has a better situation. Running back takes a step back. Yes, he still has Irving. Sean Tucker's cool too. I believe Rashard White goes somewhere else. But when I'm looking at Drake London, still great. We got to see who's the offensive coordinator as they
The
hire.
offensive coordinator
Yes,
is
Tommy Rees.
Tommy Rees,
Yes,
and Kevin Stefanski is the head coach. So
yeah.
you
So
know,
trust him.
be happy you're getting Robinson out of there, and you're replacing them with the Cleveland Browns staff.
I know that yeah. I mean, when I think about that, when you say
The
it out
grass
loud,
ain't always greener, my man.
when you say it out loud, it doesn't sound too sexy.
The grass ain't always greener.
But and then we have Jalen Hurts goes still in the second round. I'm more down on Jalen Hurts. Yes, he's still for fantasy a good quarterback. We'll see what a because they still haven't hired their offensive coordinator yet. So gotta see. He might lose AJ Brown. That is a very high possibility. So we have to. I'm not sure if Jalen Hurts is the quarterback I want to be selecting, even though he wasn't already the quarterback I was selecting, because I like the other guys in that spot. Then we got Chris Olave. Ashton Genty has been humbled a bit in a year where he was going in that first round where people had him in. Hell, I had him because we thought the situation would be a little bit better in that Jameer Gibbs Bijan area. But I think his value has balanced itself. Would you agree, Rocco? Where I think late second is the right spot for Ashton Genty and not the first.
Yeah, I mean he flashed all over the place in games. It was hard for him to be consistent week to week. I think he even had one of those big games against the Houston Texans. I could be wrong, but when you can put up a huge game against the Houston Texans, that makes me stand up and notice. So I think people are just a little bit early on him, and I think he's going to absolutely smash in 2026.
Hell yeah. Then we have Mahomes and Jackson Dart to round out the second round. Mahomes
Benny
still
reached.
going. Mahomes still going in that late second.
Benny reached. Sorry, Benny. Bad pick.
I'm not sure if I want to. Well, it seems like yes, Mahomes has the right determination to come back from this type of injury, but I just don't like the direction of right now. The current Kansas City Chiefs offense is in. They didn't look sexy. Kelsey's just getting older. We got to see what they do with that running back room. The shoulder injury and some injuries along the way, but I on that wide receiver room, and you just one stupid move away from Rasheed Rice from not having him for the whole year. So Patrick Mahomes is in a very sticky situation for me. I've seen people go acquire themselves some Patrick Mahomes as of late after the season ended. I'm not on the Mahomes. I'd rather be buying Bo Nix actually. If since Bo Nix has gotten out injury in the playoff game, fracturing his ankle, he would be the one that I am currently trying to acquire because a bone fracture ain't shit to me. It's not serious. He's out for the playoffs, but he's going to be just fine to go for the offseason program. So I would be a lot more on trying to select Bo Nix.
Ben, you fucked up. You
Yeah,
fucked up. You took him at the end of the second round. That's a big time reach. I would have taken Dart, Herbert, Nix, probably Show over him. Shuck. I'd take Brock Purdy over him, Trevor Lawrence. You got to realize he's going to be 31 by the third quarter of next season. Now he's blown his knee out, so he can lose a little bit of that rushing utility. Their offense is in shambles. I mean, they have basically nobody to throw to. Their running backs suck. Rasheed Rice, like you said, he's one driving incident from
fucking
not
shit up.
playing much at all. I mean, they have some picks, but I mean, like, how did they put that team together? That team is old at multiple positions. I just don't see it. It feels like a big time reach, and there were plenty of good players that he could have taken over Mahomes. I don't like the back to back quarterbacks. Sorry, Ben, you need to take it back to the drawing board. Not picking on you, but I love Drake May, Mahomes. It's a reach.
Yeah, I haven't ever went double quarterbacks to start off a draft. Uh, but hey, get those out the way sometimes. But what I have been noticing in the two that I've done so far is that I fuck up on my super flex, my QB2. I wait a little bit too long, and then they all get swiped up. So I'm gonna have to play that a little bit better and the real starters that we end up doing. But yeah, shout out to you, Ben. Good people, our good friend over there at Dynasty Gambit. But before we go into the third round, let's go ahead and run a quick break from our good friends at League Champ, where you can win a free NFL jersey by being the number one ranker of the week. And we're still going hard for the NFL playoffs. The conference round is this upcoming weekend. You can still play by ranking out the players that are playing this weekend. But here's a quick chat from our good friends at League Champ. Be right back after this. And I hate that it does that, man. Goodness gracious. Boy, stay up with us, restream. And now I gotta stop this one, bring it back over here. And then I gotta flip it and reverse it. Is yo yeah. Stop playing with me. But we are back. Fourth in fantasy. I am Honcho, and that is my guy, Rocco over
Rocco.
there. And we are going through our first Dynasty startup of the off season. Plenty of more to get some practice in as we have a lot of time until April. So hopefully you are dialing in your draft strategy, trying to figure out how you want to set up your teams in the right direction in 2026. And honestly, seeing how other people feel about players, I feel like the people who draft well figure out are able to one take advantage of ADP because we all know how sleeper is when it comes to updating that they're very slow, and then two are very are use the board to their advantage. They can see when a run's about to happen before it happens, right? Like I knew that early second round. If I know that the early second round is going to be a wide receiver run, I might end up trading trying to trade back into the second to get me an elite wide receiver. Or one of the ideas that I had as someone who isn't too high on this 2026 class is maybe I just wait a little bit on my QB2 and I end up just shipping out that 2026 first to go acquire me a quarterback after the draft. Now I've done already added some solid pieces to my core positions, my running backs, my wide receivers, and my tight ends without needing to select one early. Hell, would you? Well, what would it take for you to get a Dak Prescott, a 2026 first, maybe a late, maybe a mid, right? And then you throw a third along that way, a third or a second along to get Dak Prescott. Let, let's say you maybe you look at it. Someone depends on how someone feels about Tyler Shook. Toss a 2026 first to get yourself a Tyler Shook. See, Rocco's right on that one. See, now we talking Rocco language right there.
I already sent out a late 26 first for Tyler Shuck, and everybody told me I was crazy, but look at it. Third round right here, early third, Tyler Shuck.
So listen, that's if I'm somebody who if I catch myself in a situation where I notice that I haven't selected my QB2, and at this point, it's better for you to go ahead and start to continue to select running backs or receivers or tight ends. To just basically, if there's better values in other places, don't force it. I feel like you can after the draft go ahead and acquire yourself a quarterback. Send out the 2026 first. There's going to be. I feel like that's going to give you more value than what
But
that prospect would eventually.
you talking about 26 first in the startup?
Yes. No,
But
no,
at
no,
this
no, no,
point,
no,
you're
no,
not
no.
going
I
to
mean,
have.
sorry, not in the startup, but after in the rookie draft.
But I don't know. In the ones I'm in, you usually have to draft your draft position. You don't come preloaded with picks.
Yeah, that's why you got to wait after your startup to go acquire.
Ah, I see what you're saying.
Yeah,
I gotcha.
yeah.
I was
After you
confused.
finish that up, you can go ahead and then try to figure out who upped or went crazy and grabbed four quarterbacks, being the dickhead and trying to sell them at max price. You feel me? So,
You're gonna get
like
left holding the bag doing that shit. This shit, man. People are onto that strategy, and they will fucking diamond hand
they will
their
let you
their
drown.
assets. They'll let you fucking drown with them quarterbacks. I fucking seen it. I saw it happen. It happened to me. Don't let it happen to you.
No, looking at this
Don't
third
go
round, it
overzealous
starts
with
off
the
with
quarterbacks.
George Pickens, Devin A. Chain, and this is the third time that I've seen Devin A. Chain go in the third round. Honestly, if I'm looking at it, I might, Addy, not to pick on you too, I probably would go A. Chain over Ashton Genty just because of the usage and what I would love most about Ashton Genty is his receiving his receiving stats to go along with one we have with I still got to see who's going to be the offensive coordinator in Miami. Unless we do know who's going. Have they hired an offensive coordinator? Rocco, do we know? I know
Uh,
they hired their coach, but
I don't know. I'm taking Genty over A Chain at this point. I know
oh,
Genty. I
let's
know
talk spicy.
Genty's. I know. I don't feel like it's a spicy take. The take is based on I know Genty's gonna get all the touches he can handle. While A Chain's a smaller back and he just lost his offensive coordinator. I'm not saying like A Chain is a product of that offensive coordinator, but if that offense takes any step back, I think it could affect A Chain. They hired a defensive first guy, so I'd rather see who they're gonna hire at OC.
Mhm.
Um, but at this point, I think I'm gonna take Genty over A Chain, and this is coming from a guy that just acquired some A Chain, but
And
A
Dynasty.
Chain, A Chain, but um, I don't know. I think I'm gonna lean into the touches for Genty here.
Hey, I like it, and I like me some Ashton Genty. Don't get me wrong, as a prospect and where I have him, I'm very much holding him because people have asked, they have tried to come and inquire him, and I've declined every last one because where you drafted him, I just don't feel like you rather the value says to hold and not sell right now because
Hmm.
what I've seen people sell Ashton Genty for has been damn near pennies and nickels, and I don't play them type of games over here. But the third round where we saw some more quarterbacks go off the board with Justin Herbert, Tyler Shook, like Rocco said, Bo Nix. Then we got James Cook, Omarion Hampton, Brock Purdy, Trevor Lawrence, Sam Laporta still in the third. I'm off on Laporta. I don't care. I'm off.
I can't, I can't support you, Chev, on that one. I
I'm
mean, it's crazy because he was able to come back and get Loveland. And maybe I think differently if it went Loveland than Laporta, but I don't see anybody going Laporta in the third. I know he's putting a stamp on the guy, and I know they
potential.
just hired the coach from the Arizona Cardinals, Petzing. But let me be clear, very clear about this. Sam Laporta is not Trey McBride, and he's coming off of a bulging disc, and that shit could hurt his fucking
Not a
career.
ball.
So
Not a bulging dick.
that shit could
Mm.
hurt his career. I don't fucks with the back injuries, not in the third round. So, um, Chev, I'd love to hear your reasoning on this, but Sam Laporta in the third,
He ain't touching none of my roster.
he feels more like a sixth round pick to me.
Yeah, I can't do it. I can't touch Laporta. I'm sorry. It's just not. It's not going that way for me. And there we go. C.J. Stroud and loves to end out the third. Looking at that turnaround, Nico Collins in the fourth. Then we have the rookie Henderson. How do you feel about Henderson going in the fourth, especially where we've seen the Patriots still love Ramondre Stevenson? Do you feel like this is a solid piece where you still had Jonathan Taylor on the board, you still had Brees Hall, Walker, Chase Brown, Christian McCaffrey, Derrick Henry? You're still going Henderson here, and now obviously it's dynasty, so age does play a part. But would you have went Trevion Henderson here?
Uh, yeah, I think that's about where he should be going. Trevion Henderson, um, he's one of the most explosive guys in the league. He comps to Jameer Gibbs in the way he has a lot of breakaway runs, and I know that Ramondre Stevenson, he's going to definitely continue to get touches. He's one of the best blocking backs, and he's a really good all around back. So, um, but I don't care about any of that. What I care about is those long breakaway runs, and that's the type of thing that could win you your week with just a couple long runs like that. And even with all of the touches that frustrated us fantasy people all year long, with Ramondre getting a lot of the touch share in New England, he still had 911 rushing yards, 9 touchdowns on the ground, and also 220 yards in the air and an additional touchdown. So he had 1,100 total yards and 10 touchdowns. So if he's getting that with what, 35, 45% of the touches, imagine what he can do with 55, 60. So I think that's a good spot to take him in, just for the upside he provides.
I can fuck with it. Then we got Chev redeeming himself, like we said, with Loveland there. We have seen Loveland really come alive in the playoff time and the later parts of the year. I know you was very much on the bandwagon, not the bandwagon, but the hive, I should say. That's a better word to say. A hive of and led was lead almost at a certain point leading the troops of Loveland over Tyler Warren. I know we've had plenty of discussions last year on it. I was very much on Tyler Warren, you on the Loveland side. Both still had amazing rookie years. I think Warren was very much affected by Daniel Jones getting hurt, so his about the later years for him just dwindled off, while Loveland and Caleb Williams started to connect more towards the end of the year. So, but that is a good spot for Loveland, and in 1.75, I look for him to continue his growth as they are, I believe, move DJ Moore in the offseason, which should open his target share. Then Tyler Warren goes right after him. But then we get to your pick, and then we'll get to the rest of the third right after. Let's talk about your pick real quick with Brian Thomas Jr. You are still a believer in the young lad.
Well,
There's
yeah, he's
never
getting traded to New Orleans, so uh,
oh
the blow up is going to be super real once he gets, in there with Tyler Shuck. But I mean, you can see kind of where I'm going with with my picks here. I'm just taking guys that are super depressed in value. Maybe not Purdy, even though I feel like he's closer to a second round quarterback, if it's a quarterback heavy draft. But Justin Jefferson in the second. I mean, he was a top 6 pick last year. Brian Thomas, he was an early second.
mhm.
Um, Even guys like T. Higgins is a little depressed where he was going in the third, fourth round last year. So I was just picking up on value pockets and building my team through wide receiver, which I usually do.
Well, me and you very much agree on that front. I do still believe in building your rosters on very strong wide receivers as they hold their values the longest. Jameer Gibbs, Bijan Robinson. I guess you can throw. Honestly, I feel like those are the only two that you could really say that I would feel comfortable. James Cook's value is going up. I feel like now that he's got a long term contract and what he's done this past year, being the rushing champ. But those are like really the only guys I feel like values don't drop just because of them being the main guys in high offenses. But if I'm looking at this rest of the round, we have Garrett Wilson, who we have to see who's going to be his quarterback in 2026, y'all. I don't know. Rocco don't know. Shit. The world trying
I
to
know
think
who it's gonna be. It's gonna be
who's going to be Rock.
it's gonna be my eighth round pick.
He's going to be my face round pick. Uh
The
oh,
guy, the guy we wanted Justin Fields to be,
you're hilarious, JJ.
Malik
Uh,
Malik Willis.
Malik Willis. For him, I feel Dolphins are going to try to get him since their new head coach
They
comes
should.
from.
Anybody that needs a quarterback should be throwing the Brinks truck at Malik Willis at this point.
So, well, Garrett Wilson, I still believe in the talent. He was one of those players that it didn't matter who was the quarterback, he was still producing before he got hurt. He had several top 10 finishes for the year. So, I've been trying to acquire me some Garrett Wilson, but people ain't biting Rocco. Okay, people aren't down on him. People still want some good type of return. And not to say I've been lowballing folks, but hell, I've been sending out like a mid first, just straight up for a mid first, and people are like, "Hey, man, what the hell is this?" So I'm gonna keep pushing that. I do like Garrett Wilson though in 2026, and well, just for the long term in Dynasty, they just gotta get themselves a quarterback and
And
honestly, an offensive play caller too. If you're at it,
quick point here.
yeah.
Um, the Dolphins have negative $22 million in salary cap.
Mm.
And I know salary cap can be moved, but that's a lot of money to be over the cap to throw, upwards of 25-30 million dollars at Malik Willis. While the Jets have 87 million in available cap space. So, with Dante Moore returning to school, Trinidad Chambliss returning to school, they
Very
may
tough.
throw the bag at Malik Willis.
It's a very tough quarterback class right now with guys returning back to school. So it's going to be very interesting to see what NFL teams who are very quarterback needy try to definitely going to overspend in the free agent market this year, 100%. But looking at the rest of the fourth round, I went with AJ Brown, hoping very much hoping what I saw, what one of the things that I was hoping would happen, they fired their offensive coordinator, definitely needed him up out of there. And then second thing that I'm hoping for is AJ Brown has been traded type of notification going across my iPhone. That's what I want to see. I still believe in AJ Brown. He is a top 15. Honestly, if we're talking about talent, he's a top 10 talent still in the NFL. It just one he has a quarterback is that's more of a I'm not gonna say running back because disrespectful, and I do like Jalen Hurts, and football wise, but and I guess fantasy football wise too. But as a passer, pure passer, it's just he's not there. He's very limited, and it does leave that offense wanting more. So AJ Brown, free him, trade him off. He is not happy. Feed us in the fantasy world, and I would be 100% happy about it. Him in the fourth round feels great. Pairing him with Drake London, and then Jonathan Taylor, Rasheed Rice, Brees Hall, Ladd McConkey, and Tucker Kraft, who is recovering from an ACL, finish out the fourth round. Tucker Kraft should still be selected here. I don't give a fuck about that ACL. I'm gonna be honest with you. I still want me some Tucker Kraft when he comes back and he gets back to what he was doing before. You're gonna wish that you had selected him in that late fourth. I would select Tucker Kraft before Tyler Warren. I would select healthy. Oh, hold on. There we go. Am I still here? All right, cool. I'm still here.
Yeah,
I would select Tucker a healthy Tucker Craft over Laporta. I would select a healthy Tucker Craft. I know I'm sure Chev would too. And I would select a healthy Tucker Craft over Loveland any day.
fuck no.
Over
Loveland's the
Loveland?
tight end. Tight end's the light tight. Loveland is the tight end three. Kraft is right after that.
I'm gonna go.
I got Kraft.
He said, "Fuck."
Gaston is Gaston. Like, bro, what is you doing, bro? Like fifth
My fault.
round Gaston. I love Gaston, but bro, nobody was taking Gaston in the fifth. He would have still been there on your next pick.
Yeah, he probably would have. Yeah, that's a little early. Yeah, well, because listen, when you hire Mike McDaniel's as your offensive coordinator, they said you saw what he did with Darren Waller. Guess what he gonna do with Aronde Gasson? I feel like Aronde Gasson is probably one of the. I'm not saying you should go out to sell him, but he's at probably one of his highest buy values to sell points at the moment, where people are super excited of what a Mike McDaniels can do. I be in some spots looking to see what people are trying to send. Hey, send over a first rounder. I mean, see if we're talking about. Hell, I would do a if somebody was down with it. I would do sending a Rondé Gadsden and they giving me a first or with Juwan Johnson, and I'll take that any day.
Juwan Johnson.
Juwan Johnson. So and then we have Roma Dunze going after Rondé Gatson.
You fucked up again.
So
Come on, man.
Some people have been literally whooping Roma Dunze's ass since the end of the season, talking about he needs to do better, which he does. I will agree with y'all. I have pivoted off of Roma Dunze and in a lot of spots, and I've taken advantage of where he was capitalizing earlier in the year, but he fell off. Not to say he can't get back on or that him and Caleb can't get back on the same chemistry, but if we're looking at wide receivers that went after him, we got Amika Ibuka, Zay Flowers, T. Higgins, Jalen Waddle, and Marvin Harrison. I feel like Marvin Harrison is probably the only, and Devontae Smith. Marvin Harrison is the only one that I feel like, Rocco, you would say you wouldn't select ahead of Roman Duze at this point. But
Some people call Romo Dunze the Marv of the North.
he said they just alike. They just live in different spots.
Hey, man, I'm just noticing this, but let's take a second and admire Addy's running back room. That running back room is so fucking legit. I
Ashton
mean,
Genty,
it,
Brees Hall, K. Walker.
yeah, his receivers suck balls, but his QB and his fucking and his running backs, whew, chef's kiss.
Doing that damn thing, boy. I tell you. Now, I'm still on K Walker, K Dub 3. I really do think with Zach Charbonnet tearing his ACL that he's going to be very much needed. And plus, it was late in the year, so that's going to be even push his recoveries where he's going to be able to come back even further into the season. So K Walk is going to be needed very much. So I like me some K Dub. I'm still not going to be on. I'm still not going to be on the Chase Brown. Like I know he's cool, and I might I'm gonna say never say never. You feel me? But I feel like I'll keep waiting. I like McCaffrey. I like Henry here. By me, that I was selecting. That was my pick. Uh, I wanted to get my second running back off the board. It was at this point me selecting a running back or deciding to go ahead and get my third wide receiver and have a strong three core wide receiver set, but decided to go running back because you know how that goes. But I feel good. I still like Derrick Henry. Once again, the offensive coordinator needed to be changed because it was stale as hell. Buttermilk buns, basura, all adjectives that means they were some shit. So I, I, well, I'm still on Derrick Henry. Then we have Dak Prescott that goes after. Amika Abuka is selected by our guy Rocco. Do you think he fell off towards the end of the year? Are you looking for a year two jump from Amika Abuka with Zach Robinson being hired as their offensive coordinator?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like Baker Mayfield is the offense. Um, I don't feel. I feel like it's Baker Mayfield's offense. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think that team goes as Baker Mayfield plays. I think Baker Mayfield got kind of banged up, and his weapons were very inconsistent. When I say inconsistent, I mean they were there and then they weren't there.
Mm,
He lost Mike Evans for a good portion of the season. Chris Godwin was basically not right all year. And McMillan even had a neck injury to to start the season. So Emeka Ibuka was the only guy there, and he was fucking smashing. And then what happened? He fucking pulled his hamstring.
with his
He
hammy.
should have took 4 games off, like literally every player does when they get a hamstring injury. And he kept playing through, and he played like shit for the rest of the year. And then the guy started coming back as he was playing like shit, and he kind of lost his spot on the pecking order. But I believe he's closer to that guy we saw in the first half of the season than what we got in the second half of the season. And I mean, trust me, this was a tough pick. They had a lot of good players right here. Bucky Irving, Zay Flowers, Quinshon Judkins, if that's your cup of tea. But I went with the guy who I saw be an absolute stud in the first half of the year, Amika Abuka, as my wide receiver three.
I'm not gonna fight you on that. I still like me and Miko Ibuka, even though he did slow down towards the end of the year. Injuries do that to you, man. And as you could always already think about him as a rookie, how that kind of played on his mental a little bit too. So, and then you can also throw all of the Bucks woes, offensive woes towards the end of the year as they damn near just fell off the face of the earth and went on the a historic losing streak to basically fall out of the playoffs. So I'm not mad at Amika Buka. I think that's a good spot, and people should still feel confident in selecting him. After Amika Buka, we have Quishon Judkins, Zay Flowers from our good boy Chev.
Great pick.
Great pick. Bruce Irving, and then to end out the
Bucky?
fifth round, Josh Jacobs, who has been very much hard for me to move this offseason so far. Nobody seems to be a fan of Josh Jacobs. None.
Oh,
None.
old running backs, man. Nothing drives people away than faster than old running backs. That's why with me, I got a team with Derrick Henry, CMC. Even Jonathan Taylor is getting a little long in the tooth. He's past his mid 20s.
Mm,
I'm keeping all of those guys, and I'm winning championships because people come in very disrespectful on those old running backs. They're
they
like,
do.
hey, I see Derrick Henry's getting kind of old. How about this third? How about this second? How about you go fuck yourself, sir?
Yeah,
Same thing with Josh Jacobs. He's pushing closer to 30. Same thing with I know he had a down season, but Saquon Barkley, who I think is going to glow up in 2026. Alvin Kamara, he's another guy. These older running backs, I feel like that is where you can get tremendous value, especially in startups,
hmm,
because you're sliding. I mean, Saquon Barkley has been a second round pick his whole life, and where'd he go in the fifth, sixth round? I'm not seeing it on the screen here, but I know he went super late. Yeah, there you go. 7 fucking rounds. Saquon Barkley. I mean, that's the steal of steals. I mean, I was looking at him, for a while. I just didn't pull the trigger. on him, but I mean just think about Saquon Barkley in the
Hmm.
seventh fucking round.
Yeah,
How
that's good value right there.
disrespectful. You know, and a lot of good running backs went in that round, but not to get ahead of myself, but older running backs, I think older running backs is the play right now, and I'm talking myself into some trades right now. Sometimes they turn into Joe Mixon, but
Mm.
a lot of times, they turn into league winners. Derrick Henry, who had a down year with fucking almost 1,600 yards and 16 touchdowns on the ground, CMC league winner. Guys like that, I would be looking to acquire in the offseason when everybody's saying, "Oh, those guys are old." Well, fuck. I'll take I'll take your old running back for a late 26 first, and I'll keep winning championships.
I think you hit it on the head right there, and we're going to split our mock draft review. So we'll end off this episode for with the fifth round, and we continue part two with the rest of the rounds. But Alvin Kamara might be the running back that I'm trying to acquire a lot this offseason, as he had a down year. He dealt with injuries, but I'm very hopeful in that New Orleans Saints offense. And if they add another piece to it, I think things could really be up for y'all in 2026. And Alvin Kamara can return to fantasy goodness. He might not be what he once was for fantasy, but I still think there's still a tier, there's still a place for Alvin Kamara 100% on a roster. And yeah, right on brand. He got right on brand. He got that thing on him. You feel me? I,
AK
I,
41.
I'm I still would go ahead and acquire some Alvin Kamara. I'm not scared.
How
Scary
much
money
would you
don't
pay
make no
for
money. Uh,
blanket seconds?
I would go like what, mid to late seconds. I feel like at that point, we've already discussed this one. Anything outside the first four
Hmm.
five picks of the 2026 rookie class is damn near like a huge teardrop, and you continue to drop as the rounds go on, right? So after the late first, then that's a huge another drop into talent. So yeah, I feel just fine sending off a mid to late second rounder. And I already know people don't. One, he's over 30. He had injuries. They're like, oh, well, let me get me some Kamara off my team. I'll take him any day. But that is our episode for today. And like I said, we're going to continue part two with the rest of the draft, starting with the sixth round. And hopefully by then, we have already finished out this mock draft. It's going to be this is our first one. So we're going to do a couple scenarios, a couple 14, a couple 16 teams as we all play different size leagues. Nothing over 16 or you're a complete psychopath. I know we like sickos over here, but we don't like weirdos. That's a very we don't. That's a very weirdo type activity. I'm just playing. No disrespect to people who play leagues bigger than 16, but catch us again while we plan out the rest of the off season, as we plan out more mock drafts, as we plan out more draft content, have more guests on the show. Keep tapping in the fourth and fantasy. We still got a lot in store for y'all as we move along in the off season, especially our boy Rocco and a couple of others in the community. So y'all know what it is. Fourth in fantasy, your playbook to more championship wins, even though it's the off season. And Rocco, where are we the land of?
We are a fantasy football podcast for Dynasty Sickos by Dynasty Sickos. Everybody's welcome.
And remember, join our free Discord. Tap in with us. Talk football all off season. See how we feel about certain prospects. I am now starting my 2026 rankings like I did last year. But I'm expanding my list. I only did wide receivers and running backs last year. I am now doing quarterbacks, running backs, wide receivers, and tight ends. The full list, baby. Starting now to give myself some time before actual rookie drafts start pushing out and the actual NFL draft commences. So stay tapped in. Hopefully, I can get that out to y'all by my goal is end of February, definitely before mid March, um, as I do have some personal time coming up myself. So, uh, working on my rankings. So, stay tuned on that one. But once again, thank you to everybody that taps in with us. Thank you to the community that continues to have our backs and tap in with Fourth and Fantasy. And thank you as always to my wonderful co-host for coming on to the shows with us and doing talking football with your boy. And you know continuing 2026. January is almost up. We're in this almost into the second month of February. Still continuing our goals and still pushing to be into that new season 3 of Fourth and Fantasy. So stay tuned and hope y'all have an amazing night. And as we go out, this is Lee Champ, where you can win a free NFL jersey by being the best ranker. You just got to play, baby. See if you can beat me, Rocco, Ben, Austin this weekend, all the amazing people in the community. Till next time, Fourth and Fantasy.